Welcome to the first 2026 Peplink University webinar. And today we're going to talk about SpeedFusion Connect. And with me is Travis Durek from Peplink, and my name is Peter West. And I think we're on like 28 or 29 of these things. So we're starting season 3, which is pretty crazy. So thank you everybody for sticking with us through this journey, just discovering Peplink, but also highlighting new products and keeping up to date. Peplink is constantly adapting and adopting change and products to help people solve problems. And the internet isn't stopping. I mean, there's new solutions all the time and new capabilities, and we want to make sure that our products are always up to date. And we do this and we share this out using this Peplink University webinar. So thank you, Travis, so much. And thank you everybody for joining.
Yeah, thank you, Peter. Peter donates his time to do this Peplink University series for you folks to help educate everybody on what's going on and what's the latest in Peplink. So, as always, Peter, love being here, and thanks for being here from your side.
Today we're going to talk about an exciting product that is free. So kind of cool. We're going to talk about SFC app for your cell phones, and the SFC app is basically a VPN app for your phone. I'm actually running it right now. I'm in Trinidad. So I'm working down in South America. I'm in Trinidad, and I've got my SFC app on my phone connected, and you can see I'm bonding Wi-Fi and cellular together, and I'm connected to the United States. I'm connected to Miami. And so the idea is that slow and unstable connections on your phone are like, how many times do you leave your office and you're like, oh, sorry, I just switched over to cellular, or you walk into your office. Oh, sorry, I just connected to my Wi-Fi, and you drop that connection on those Teams and Zoom meetings. And so I believe that this whole app was created because that happened to the CEO. Is that correct?
It's true, yeah. I mean, it's funny because he's on the road a lot and he's traveling a lot, and I mean, we've all been there, right? You're in the hotel, your hotel's got Wi-Fi, and you're like, oh, cool, I've got this meeting I got to take, and you go to sign in, and it's just garbage, right? Your calls dropping, your audio's breaking up, and so yeah, that was his experience, right? We've got weekly calls that we do, and we just couldn't hear from him one day, and he didn't have his router with him, and so it's like we got to figure this out, right? There's got to be a better way. We've all got these smartphones in our pockets with all this power. So, yeah, there was
Yep.
the SpeedFusion Connect app.
And I thought that was a really cool story because the whole idea is unbreakable connectivity, and yet we're all tied to our cell phones and still suffer with those roaming challenges and or just poor connectivity challenges that come with cellular connectivity by default, which is why we build multi-cellular routers. I mean, the whole benefit of multi-cellular routers, the BR2, the HD4, et cetera, is to aggregate multiple signals together. And so now being able to do this on our cell phones adds that extra level, is why we're away from our connections. We're not near that Peplink router. You're in your car, you're running in meetings, so running around like a normal person just on your cell phone, and now we can have increased stability. What's also neat too is, like I said, I'm down in Trinidad, and I'm VPNing back, or I'm SpeedFusioning back into the US, and I'm bonding my T-Mobile, which is roaming, and whatever Wi-Fi network I'm on. And I even plugged in my 5G dongle and had Ethernet WAN, and was able to test that on my cell phone. So I have Ethernet WAN, Wi-Fi WAN, and cellular on my cell phone, all bonded together. And so let's talk about this amazing technology and why we're bringing it up today. I could talk about how cool it is for an hour. So let's go through the slides. What is the SpeedFusion Connect app? Basically, the app, I kind of already said it, but just to reiterate it, it's a free app that you can download from the iOS or Android stores, and it will take 2 or more internet connections and combine them together to geo-redundant points, pops all over the world. And so you can choose your location, set up your and then literally just click protect, and it'll bond Wi-Fi and cellular. The perfect example is you're at home, you're on a Zoom call or Teams call, or whatever you might be using, Wi-Fi calling, and you're walk out to your car, it breaks. You walk away from your Wi-Fi connection and you go to that cellular connection. This, because you're being tunneled through SpeedFusion, the session stays persistent. The cellular is already being used as part of SpeedFusion. So you move from Wi-Fi to cellular, or Wi-Fi and cellular to just cellular. And then when you get to work, it connects to the cellular network or the Wi-Fi network there. And so now it just starts using them both again. And so it just allows you to stay connected, and you can combine two or more. And that's really important too. It's not just the two connections, but if your phone has the ability, like I was, like I mentioned a few seconds ago, I was able to tether my 5G dongle. That's an Ethernet. And you can actually see on the icon here on the screen, there's a little Ethernet. So you have Wi-Fi, cellular, and Ethernet that it'll combine together to create that reliable connection.
Yeah, I mean, these phones are literal computers now, right? And so adding a third interface to your phone isn't that crazy all of a sudden. That's absolutely possible. And you can combine all of those connections with this one SpeedFusion Connect app. Like you just said, there's so many examples of scenarios where you run into those connectivity gaps on your phone. And I don't think a lot of people even think about it that much because it just is the way it is, right? It happens, right? You leave your house, your call drops. That's just everybody knows that's going to happen, and they don't know, hey, now there's actually a solution for that.
So how does it work? I sort of spoiled that with how excited I was about talking about this. I do that sometimes, but without the app, sending data through a single connection, some data may be lost. And then with SpeedFusion Connect, it keeps those pieces together using WAN smoothing and forward error correction. And you can actually play around with the settings in the app of how much WAN smoothing and duplication it's providing. But the idea is zero packet loss. So seamless connectivity, zero packet loss by using WAN smoothing technology to really increase the reliability of these video applications you're trying to operate on.
Yeah, and packet loss is really the enemy here, right? People talk about speed, but when they have those interruptions, when things slow down, it's happening because there's packet loss, right? When you walked out of your house to your car, your Wi-Fi got too far away and it didn't know it yet, right? It tried to talk back and it tried to send that video back and it didn't get there because you left. And so that's what this does, right? That uses both connections to intelligently replace that so that even when you make that transition, there isn't that packet loss anymore.
So how to use the SpeedFusion Connect app? You simply select at least two of your active connections, cellular, Wi-Fi, or Ethernet adapter, and then enable the SpeedFusion app with the protected. You can select the little down arrow and choose your location as well. So I select that, and you can see lots of regions and locations. Just by selecting this little down arrow right here next to New York City, you can actually select multiple locations and countries. So, for example, I'm in Trinidad, and I selected the USA and then Miami, so that I can, it looks, YouTube TV thinks I'm in Florida still. So
yeah, and when you're traveling overseas, you run into a lot of those things, right? Your bank website might not let you in all of a sudden. So now, boom, you're back in the US, and you can do all the things that you used to do.
So I have tested 1 and 2. I actually traveled with a little Starlink Mini with me, and so played around with Wi-Fi hotspot on this Wi-Fi on the Starlink Mini, and then bonding that, and then like I'm using my location Wi-Fi as well, so to play around with bonding my phone's connection with different Wi-Fi connections for this video or for this webinar. And I thought it was really neat that with the Starlink, especially like a Starlink Mini, you can plug that into your USB-C with the USB-C adapter, and literally have just Starlink Wi-Fi, and then your phone connects to it, and then you enable SpeedFusion Connect. And so if you don't have a Peplink router with you, which obviously I always do, but if you don't, you could just use your phone and then bond it. I did also try this on my airplane where I don't have a Peplink router right now. I just had the Starlink on the dashboard, and then I connected my phone. And then as my phone got cellular service, I was able to maintain SpeedFusion Connect app never dropped, not once.
Nice.
And I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, and I think these scenarios are great because there's just there's so many examples day to day when you actually do have multiple connections available to you. And so, yeah, you don't have to suffer through those interruptions in those cases, right? You've almost always got a Wi-Fi hotspot at a coffee shop or your house or your office and or your friend your friend right next to you with a different carrier. I know one time my girlfriend and I were driving in the car and she had a call that she had to take, and so I have Verizon, she has T-Mobile, and so I enabled my hotspot. She turned on the SpeedFusion Connect app, and now she was the passenger, I was driving, right? But she's sitting there on the call with totally bulletproof, right? We're driving
Yeah,
on the highway and nobody knows. It worked great.
that's hilarious. I love it. Technically, well, no, if she turned on her hotspot and you connected, I wonder if that would have looped. You should try that. But um, some of the cool capabilities or use cases around the app is that, for example, video conferencing, which we've both made point of. But I like some of these other use cases like ordering apps, like just trying to process an order or you know process a transaction when you're getting lots of packet loss or the network is stuttery. It makes those applications really annoying. And I have personal experience with that yesterday. Is just going into these rural areas, not having US 5G connectivity, being able to have that the SpeedFusion Connect and bond the Wi-Fi and the cellular made it really nice for navigation using Google Maps and just trying to get around, but also pulling up like the hotel app and things like that is just very clean. Um, Live streaming, once again, a really good utilization for this because WAN smoothing and with packet loss protection is going to really create a really nice network. And like Travis just said, you might not have a Starlink or a Peplink 5G dongle with you, but you might have a friend that has AT&T or T-Mobile or Verizon, and now you can just have them turn on their Wi-Fi hotspot and literally from your cell phone have two 5G connections and bond those together with SpeedFusion Connect. And Travis, that's a phenomenal idea. I mean, it's like you're almost always near somebody, so have them turn on
Yeah.
their cell phone and bond with them to create a more robust network connection, just sitting right there in your, wherever you are.
Yeah, it doesn't cost anybody any more money, right? You both have your phones and your data plans, so
Yep.
better together. Yeah, and I think, there's a lot of personal examples, but I think just in the business day to day, like Square terminals, these point of sale applications, right? They all run on Android phones, iPhones, right? So those are other examples of places that you just don't have to suffer those interruptions anymore. If you're a
Yep.
food truck, you can be bulletproof, right? You can have a hotspot or another phone there with you and or a Starlink Mini there with you, and you've got the power of both now.
Yeah, I think it's really neat.
We
The
keep hearing from
importance. Oh,
companies that have like field operations too, like these e-signature tools, the healthcare industry, service industries. There's all kinds of examples of jobs, public safety too, right? They're bringing tablets and things into buildings where they're losing coverage on different networks, and yeah, this keeps them productive in on all of those devices.
um, SpeedFusion Connect is not just an online service for bonding; it's also eSIM data. And so this is a really cool slide because not only can you protect your data, you can also add global eSIM data to your plan. So we have global data, North America and Europe data, and then global pooled data plans as well. And so once again, I travel a lot. I'm right now in South America, being able to have global pooled data on my devices. But I don't know if Travis, I don't know if we've talked too much about this, but this is now not limited to just Peplink devices. You can now eSIM any device by registering the ICC ID of the card or the
Mhm.
IMEI. And so if you have your EID or ICC ID of an eSIM, you can actually push Peplink eSIM data to that device. And so you can have global connectivity pooled at incredible pricing with no monthly fees, no extra overhead, no contracts. And I would simply just recommend reaching out to your Peplink partner if you want to learn more about these. It's pretty in depth. But if you have a lot of questions about this or are interested in pooled data, it is very, very useful and capable for scaling out your infrastructure with virtually no stress.
Yeah, and these eSIM data plans, I think, make sense for a lot of different scenarios, right? There's individual device plans that, again, if you're just a traveler and you're going overseas, going to a different country, or just going to a different region in the country, even, I go to places where my carrier just doesn't work the best, right? And so I have one of these data plans, number one, and yeah, every now and then I'll get into that situation where my carrier doesn't do the best and I'll switch over because these plans work on AT&T, T-Mobile, and Verizon in the US. So I can have all three carriers with me now. But yeah, the pooled option is awesome too. If you've got a bunch of routers that are on a pooled data plan, you can extend that to all the tablets and phones on your company's account too. It's not just the Peplink devices anymore. It could even be somebody else's router for that matter, if they've got an eSIM chip on it. But yeah, there's lots of flexibility. And the pooled plan, again, you said it, Peter, there's no per SIM per month charge on these plans. They're truly unique in that sense. So for
Yeah.
a lot of applications, they are a
Got a
game.
couple questions I just want to keep up to date with as well. Which SpeedFusion fusions are used configured in the SpeedFusion Connect app? It looks like it defaults to WAN smoothing. If you click on, if you click on the down arrow, not the down arrow, my second. If I click on connections right there, and I click on the connections, it'll give you the ability to see which connections are being used. There's a little edit button, little pencil. So if I click on the pencil, now I can see here, I can choose which connections I want to bond. So I can bond cellular, Wi-Fi, and Ethernet. And then you can see right there, SpeedFusion Connect, and it doesn't really let you choose. And so based on the fact that it says smooth streaming and reduced data loss, to me, that tells me they're using WAN smoothing or FEC. I'm assuming it's defaulting to WAN smoothing because that's better for voice and video. And this is built for voice and video and live streaming. All of those are benefited by WAN smoothing. So my assumption, which I will clarify, but just by through analysis, or if Travis knows, but my guess is that it's doing WAN smoothing and giving you the ability to protect your data, which is what that's useful for.
Absolutely correct, Peter. Yeah, it's doing WAN smoothing. It's not targeted at giving you a peak speed test.net boost, right? It's targeted at making those applications that suffer during outages work better, right? So like you said, the Zoom calls, the Wi-Fi calling, the Teams calls,
Yeah.
any application, you just want to be more reliable. And live streaming is a great example of that. Live streaming is most improved by using WAN smoothing to give you the lowest jitter, the lowest packet loss possible. So yeah, that's exactly the technology there.
And then somebody asked how much battery it uses. I'm actually pulling up my battery right now to see. So battery usage. Well, it's not even the top list of battery apps. So SpeedFusion for me, and I'll just you can see I'm not lying here, less than 1%. I mean, Signal, for example, is my top app, and it's using a lot more data. So it uses less data. I mean, Signal is 42% of my battery consumption, and SpeedFusion Connect is less than 1% of my battery consumption. So at least, I mean, once again, I'm not going to speak to everybody's cell phones, but that's what I'm using right now.
I've seen it be a little bit thirsty on phones sometimes, and I think from what I've seen in my experience, at least, it seems like the worse my connections are, the more battery it's chewing up, and I think that kind of makes sense, right? It's trying harder and harder, but
the other thing too is the worse your connections are, the more they are consuming battery, because it amplifies. Like if you have a really good signal, it'll actually lower the battery consumption, the power output of the radio. So the worst connection you have, you're in a whole bunch of bad, because it's going to be amplifying the signal, and you're probably using more SpeedFusion WAN smoothing, which would then add processor and memory.
Yep. So yeah, it does add a hit. I think it's nice to see your example too of it not chewing a whole bunch of battery up on your device too. So yeah,
and I've been running that all day, but I'm on Signal a lot, so. That's pretty funny that it's sucking up all my data though, or my battery. Okay. Sorry, 1 second. I got these pop-ups here. Okay. So in-app Peplink eSIM data plans. So with the latest update, you can purchase Peplink eSIM data plans in the SpeedFusion Connect app and download and enjoy. So you can purchase data plans, referrals, and referral recognition. Receive a special appreciation gift. There you go. So that's actually new. I did not even know about this until this slide. So Travis, I don't know if you are aware and want to talk about it. I'm going to pull it up in the app and
Yeah.
see.
Yeah, there's a new referral program that we've added to the app. So, like you said, you can purchase eSIM data in this app, and we've made a nice little 5 gig plan available. And,
Yeah.
like I said, for me, I don't need much more than that because my primary carrier works 95% of the time when I'm traveling. But, there's always those nooks and crannies where I need that. So I've got that extra little insurance plan, right? That $20 insurance plan I've paid for to add onto my phone. But if you get other people to do that, you'll get an extra little 2 gig and you both get it, right? So we've just created a nice friendly little incentive program to reward people who are spreading the word about it. But yeah, we might actually have some
Okay, I'm going to post
mail
my
out gifts
referral
too.
link. There you go. There's my referral code right there.
Peter wants to win. I like it. But yeah, we will actually mail out some Peplink devices as well for folks who are participating in that. So could be
That's
some
really cool.
companies. Yeah.
Yeah, I just pulled it up. I was like, oh, okay. That's kind of neat. That is
Yeah.
new.
I think really what we're seeing here is this line between, where you use your router and where you use your phone. It's really blurry, right? You're using them in both places sometimes. And so, we want to be able to extend that Peplink experience everywhere. And so that's what we're trying to help spread the word of. But some people will start with the phone and then find a router, and some people will go the other way. So
Okay. SpeedFusion Connect is located all over the globe, which is really nice. As you travel around, you can use this service. And I know we're talking about the app, but I do want to talk about SpeedFusion Connect as well, or SFC. A lot of people, they're going to come, they see that SFC or SpeedFusion Connect on their router, and it says 200 megabits per second or expired. That is not SpeedFusion. That is Peplink's public SpeedFusion service. So not only does the app use these locations for global connectivity, so do the Peplink routers. And so if you are at work from home or you work without an infrastructure and just want bonding, you can use a Peplink router with 5G in your cable modem, bond those together to a SpeedFusion Connect server nearest you to basically let your whole entire home be protected. That service is built into all Peplink routers, and it shows up on the in-control dashboard. I get a lot of people going, oh no, my SpeedFusion's expired. I need to renew it. SpeedFusion doesn't expire. SpeedFusion Connect, Peplink's public service, is built into your warranty. So it's built into Essential Care and Prime Care and things like that. But it is important that SFC, which is Peplink's publicly available bonding service, is not SpeedFusion. Those are same technology, but not the same service.
yep. Yeah, and this is,
But this is a really cool app. They're a cool graphic.
well, and like what Peter was talking about before, right? When you use these two connections, you have to trick the internet, right? To achieve SpeedFusion, you have to make the internet think you're one connection that's always on. And so that's what these cloud nodes are. When you connect to SpeedFusion Connect, your traffic hits the internet from one of these locations. So there's always something close by to you, no matter where you're at, so that you get that efficient, fast bonding. But again, you stay close to where you're at. Or if you're traveling, you can send yourself back home again too. But that's what this network of cloud nodes is for, is to keep you connected wherever you may be.
So there's also something called SpeedFusion Relay Mode. If you have a Peplink router at your home or office, you can actually relay through to that location. So for example, I could program my SpeedFusion to relay into my home router. I have an SDX at my house, and I could set up relay mode on that, and then I could relay through that. This allows you to basically act as if you were sitting at home. This is really, really good for streaming apps. If you have like your cable provider, YouTube TV, and things like that that care where you are, you can basically bond back. But then you get to take advantage of bonding as well, especially like a lot of homes these days have gigabit internet. And so you're able to have plenty good internet sitting at your house that you don't have to worry about. So future plan custom SFC node. If you came to the Peplink Summit, and you can see right there on the screenshot, if you came to the Peplink Summit, we actually showcased this feature where we can actually build custom SFC nodes. And so West Networks spun up, but we have a node set up in our data center, which is good internet. We've got 10 gigs of internet, 30 gigs of internet now at our node in Florida, and so we have West Networks Peplink Summit, and we kind of showcased that off during the summit last year, and it's really nice because you can spin up your own node that gives you localized, local access, maybe a closer pop to where you want to be. So if you want to, if you're working in a specific area, you can spin up a node in your area, and then you can bond right back to that node. That's going to give you lower latency connectivity. So Peplink is going to release a private hosted SpeedFusion Connect server, basically, that you can spin up in your own office or data center.
Yeah, and there's lots of scenarios where we see people wanting to do this, right? I think the individual use cases are all pretty easy to understand, right? When you're at the hotel, at the coffee shop, those things. But for a company, you may want this experience for all of your employees, right? But you don't want it on just the public internet. You want it to go to your office, your applications. And so that's something you could do with this custom SpeedFusion Connect node. Or if you're a managed service provider, right? A lot of the Peplink partner network provide services to their customers, and so this creates white label opportunities for service providers to brand this themselves, and then again provide their customers with that private tailored experience where it's going to bring them to their network or their block of IPs or whatever it is that they want to connect to. So beyond that individual use case, this custom SpeedFusion Connect node will enable all kinds of different uses and business models for this service and application.
And that little add button right there, on the previous, we talked about the relay mode. When you click on the little location on the dashboard of the app, when you click on like the location right there, you're going to see this cloud location. When you click add, that's where you can do your relay, and then you can put in your relay code that goes back to your house or your office. So you can use that relay mode right there.
Yeah, and I know we've got a lot of RVers out there, or road warriors like that. That relay mode is such a great use for that. I mean, if you're out in your vehicle on the road, now you're back at home, you've got a Peplink in both places that effectively then, right? You've got that app in your pocket now.
If you want to download the app and get started with it, you can do that now. You can do that right here. So you can scan this QR code on either iOS or Android and download the app and get started with it. Yeah, and then we will open up for questions. Somebody did ask about the eSIM with a BR2, sort of off topic, but since we're a little bit early on time, I'll go ahead and share that. So Peplink, almost all, well, actually I think all, but almost all modern Peplink routers, released in the last year and a half or 2 years, have Peplink eSIM capabilities built into them. Peplink has a PepSIM built into all Peplink routers released in like the last 2 years. So if you have a modern router that is running that has Peplink eSIM capability, you can purchase a pooled plan. Then from that pooled plan, you can assign data. I'm going to stop sharing. So I'm in my Professor P, Peplink University, and I have a pooled plan. So if I go to Peplink University and I go to eSIM pool plan, there's my data. So I've got 828 gigabytes available. That expires on 11/18/2026. And I've got a whole bunch of routers in here. So one thing that's kind of cool, I can add an ICCID. So Peplink device or third party. So if I have a third party ICCID, I can add my eSIM pool plan to that. Pretty freaking cool. Then if it's a Peplink device and I go into, for example, Professor P here, I have some routers. So here's my 5G red cap right there. You can see how like these guys see eSIM pool data, eSIM pool, eSIM pool. And then I've got this BR2 and I've got the 5G red cap. So I'm going to add these two devices. Let's pretend they were offline, brand new routers, not online, not on Peplink. So they're red, right? They're offline and red. I can click the edit button, select the BR2 and the 5G red cap, go to actions, Peplink eSIM, add to eSIM data pool. Okay, the red cap's not compatible with it yet. See, not available yet. But I could add the ICCID and override that. So if I copy this ICCID, I'll show you. That's pretty funny.
Yeah, and that's only
I can
because that's a
select.
prototype. That device and model
Yes.
will
So
support.
my BR2 Pro, I can click add to pool data plan. Then I turn on that router. By default, it's going to look and say, hey, do I have a pool plan? Yes, and it's going to come online. Now, that router, that prototype router, I can click add ICCID, by ICCID, paste my ICCID, click next. Oh, it's still not going to let me. Okay, well, I'll reach out to Peplink. I tried, but then you can add the ICCID.
I thought it would work too.
I thought it would work too, but that is a prototype device, so I'll give Peplink their credit on that one. But anyways, really easy to add those eSIMs, and we use this if you're an MSP or tech support or a partner of Peplink. I use buy a 10 gig pool plan, and literally, I had a customer that had 8 BR1s. They needed pushed eSIMs to custom eSIMs. I added to the pool plan, brought them online, went to eSIM, pushed the eSIM, and then removed them from me. So I use the pool plan for tech support. I use the pool plan for 0-day, and I use it for my own devices and connectivity as well. So really cool feature there.
Yeah, it's such a great panic button when a device goes
can you relay into a specific VLAN on your home network? No, you cannot. You can't relay into a specific VLAN. You would need to allow LAN access, though. You can allow LAN access in the relay mode. Is the 5 gigabit eSIM available in the app? I saw it in the app. So download the latest update. I mean, just my app had it. So I would check the app. And
yeah, I would, at worst, delete it and re-download it.
Yeah. At worst, delete the app and then reinstall the app with the latest version.
For the Peplink eSIM, yes, you want roaming enabled.
Yeah, so you want to enable roaming if you want to roam. So and you should do that anyways with the Peplink eSIM
in the US too.
Yeah, because it can actually origin outside of the country there. So let's go into a router. So say you do want to play around with the relay mode. So here's a 20x router. So we'll go to the 20x router, go to settings, remote web admin, and then you just go to SpeedFusion Connect. So say this was your home router. So you go to SpeedFusion Connect, go to relay mode for inbound access. You can click on relay mode. Then here I can select my location. So I can, Dallas is the closest to my home there in Florida. So I'll hit the little checkbox. It's going to give you a code right there. I can copy that code, paste that into my relay app. And right here, someone asked about VLANs and access. Network access, networks, all networks, protect private networks, all networks, block all except the allowed list and allow all. So this is how you would allow someone access. Like if I'm reloading mode in, can I access your local network? So I can say protect my private networks. In other words, only use it for bonded internet. Or let's say you have a network attached storage and you want to be able to access something on your network at your home or your business, you can allow that. And then you can allow all remote, or you can block and allow just the list. So there's your serial number. So if I wanted to protect this, I could. And so really easy to set up. And then you just take this code right there. If I turn this on, anybody with the app would be able to connect into my 20X. I'm not going to turn it on, but you just copy that code, paste it into the SpeedFusion app, and there you go. And I believe it only allows 5 relay clients on the 20X at least. So just be aware of that.
And I think the coolest thing about all this is what you're doing is you're setting up that VPN access, but you don't need any public IPs. You don't need any port forwarding, right? You're not configuring any firewall extra. You're not opening any ports to your network. This is all zero exposure in terms of internet access. So it's it looks really easy, but it's doing some pretty amazing stuff in the background.
That is true. Okay, well, just seriously, download that SpeedFusion Connect app. Play around with it. If you want a referral code, reach out to me, peter@westnetworks.com. I'll send you a referral code. And if you have any questions, peter@westnetworks.com, travis@peplink.com. We're always available to answer questions and put you in contact with the right partner for your needs or where you are. So we get a lot of people all over the world asking for help. We'll find the right resource for you wherever you are.
Yeah, and if you want to go beyond relay mode and do something more infrastructure like with that private node concept, reach out and let us know what ideas you have. We're very ready to move that forward. So more to come as always. But yeah, Peter, thanks
Have a good one.
again. Happy
Bye.
2026, everybody.